Hi everyone, Harry here to talk about the latest, the last 24 hours in the DOJ, which is being portrayed. The Wall Street Journal saying Trump officials waste no time in Justice Department's rightward shift, citing things like policy reinstatement of things you have in more conservative administrations about serious drug offenses and the like, but that completely fails to capture what's going on. Things like that happen, and no one would be fussing about it. The other moves that Trump has made are not a rightward shift. They are a existential challenge, a mortal assault on the Department of Justice and what it stands for. In a word, the doing of justice without fear or favor. So we talked about this some yesterday. We'll be talking about it more. We are early in the administration. There have been other grave challenges to DOJ in the past, in the Saturday Night Massacre and Trump's efforts to get the DOJ to enlist in his effort to overturn the election through the use of lies, where, and it's part of the heroic annals of the DOJ, the officials in both cases, by the way, Republican appointees, understood their greater duty and faced down, in the one instance, Richard Nixon, and in the other, Donald Trump. Now we're at the beginning of an administration where he has complete lackeys installed. The person who is overseeing what was announced yesterday, a investigation, and it would, it's not specified, but it's certainly, the air is acrid with the sense of criminal charges having to do with the January 6th prosecutions. That person, Ed Martin, is a big stop the steal guy, more than a stop the steal guy from 2020, a champion of the marauders themselves. He's advocated for them, had big involvement with them. The guy who's now in charge of and calling the shots on ordering investigations, is about as slanted and tilted a guy as you can find. And then one of the dozens of aberrations and violations here is this guy shouldn't be anywhere near an impartial, disinterested look at what happened in the January 6th investigation. He has such a plain axe to grind and absolutely would need to be recused in any normal justice system. But it's, we're ranking in the stratospheric ranges of how bad can you go. But the summary firing of people who worked on the Jack Smith prosecutions, because they worked on the Jack Smith prosecutions, that is the most direct and serious assault that the DOJ has ever encountered. A few things you might think if you're not familiar with how the DOJ works or the government works. That's what I hope these YouTubes and the Substack that I have, and I'll have an article on this tomorrow, please check it out, try to impart. But this is not the sort of thing you might say, oh, well, it's just those guys that Trump is going after. Or you could say, oh, didn't the Dems do it too? Both of those totally missed the point. Point number one is, if Trump can successfully fire people who, for the crime of doing their job and investigating what were clearly in Earth One, where facts prevail, crimes by Trump or conduct that justified the investigation, the DOJ has been brought to its knees, because the whole point of doing justice without fear or favor is it's without a fear or favor, categorically. It's not without fear or favor asterisk, except as it involves Donald Trump. And then the tit for tat is just complete bogus bullshit. The people who were being fired, who worked on the Smith case, did just what career prosecutors are supposed to do within the honorable and storied tradition of the Department of Justice. You hear again and again prosecutors come out and say facts and law, and that, kind of just wafts over us. We hear it again and again, but that is the soul of a just criminal justice system. You must bring charges, but if they are justified, but you can't bring them if they're not, and that means if the facts and the law don't support them. The facts and the law quite plainly supported the prosecutions against Donald Trump, and they quite plainly, it's not a judgment call. These charges that underlie everything that Trump is trying so hard to make be the verdict of history. The ultimate propaganda is the history of the victor. Are 100%, and we have to say again and again and again, lies and wicked lies. Nobody did anything wrong in working on the Jack Smith prosecutions, which, by the way, was their duty at the DOJ. That, if they were asked to break the law or do a political prosecution, or you could think about stepping to the side, but that's not what this is. And it just has to be insisted on again and again and again. And indeed, if it's not the ultimate verdict of history or of the political system, maybe not until the very, very dark day that Trump is gone from the scene, then the Department of Justice is no longer the Department of Justice. The stakes are just that high. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.